Hey there, thanks again for joining me on one of my live streams. Today I'm going to kind of swallow a little bit of a risk, and I'm going to actually go through the process of updating to Kontakt 8. I think this is probably pretty timely for other composers out there who might be wondering what that process looks like. And I have been researching it quite a bit, and I want to start by offering some insights into what that process should involve, right? I'm going to suggest some tips for also trying to mitigate some of the risks that you might face if you have a lot of production files that you've got on a hard drive and you're wondering what this will look like down the road. I have some tips on that, and then I'm actually going to walk through the process here. So I have not actually done this. I have only researched it, and I'm hoping that it's going to go well, not too badly anyway. But I want to start out by just giving a little bit of background on my own perspective, because Kontakt 8 is fairly new. It's not brand spanking new, so I think there's certainly people out there who have been making an effort to work with it, and it's a full-fledged product right now. In my case, I am starting from Kontakt 7. I have used Kontakt all the way back. I think about Kontakt 5 was probably the first version that I used heavily. But I don't actually have projects still on my hard drive that are running anything older than Kontakt 7. And that's because over time I've made a considerable effort to keep things current. Generally, my perspective is I favor keeping software current. I figure the bill's going to come due one way or the other. But I also want to encourage anybody watching this to really think about this carefully, because if you are in the middle of a project, for example, these kinds of updates can be extremely impactful. I would really honestly, I don't think it's unrealistic to say that the worst case scenario is that you really don't have a functioning studio for the better part of a week. So if you're in a situation where you absolutely cannot afford a week of downtime, I would say tread lightly. Only approach this with someone's help, or if you feel very confident about it. Hey Rich, this is not a free update. I got Kontakt 8 through upgrading my complete collector's edition to the most recent 15. I think I was at 14 or 13, I'm not sure. But there were some instruments in there that I thought were particularly useful, and I did like the interface of Kontakt 8. I use Kontakt all the time, and the interface is, I think, has some important usability advancements that will help me in my workflow. But I also generally just like to keep my stuff current if I can. One exception to that is Mac OS. I usually don't update Mac OS until several months after it's been out, almost until the next version's coming out, because I have been burned on that in the past. Maybe I'm over protective there, but that's for another video. So let's talk a little bit about how this process is supposed to work. First step is that starting in Kontakt 7, and this goes back to what I was saying about the importance of, in my situation, I'm really only going back as far as Kontakt 7. My whole setup here is running Kontakt 7. I'm not running anything older than that, fortunately. I had made a concerted effort along the way to keep myself current. So if you're going from Kontakt 7 to Kontakt 8, the way it should go is very smoothly. Starting with Kontakt 7, Native Instruments implemented something called auto migration. And the idea there was that if you opened up a project that had an instance of Kontakt in it, and that version of Kontakt is not on your computer, it's been uninstalled or it doesn't exist there, then Kontakt 7 should override and should take over, and you should auto migrate. Since that was implemented with Kontakt 7, I'm feeling a bit more confident in it with Kontakt 8, especially since I'm really only updating from Kontakt 7. Now, if you are updating projects from older versions, 6, 5, 4, The official news from Native Instruments, and I put some links in the description that you can check out. One's about uninstalling, so you can uninstall older versions of Kontakt, and the other is about their sort of official guidelines on auto migration. But what they say in there is that whether you're on Mac or PC, it seems evident that you should be able to have this auto migration work all the way back to Kontakt 3.5. Now, of course, there are some caveats here. I will definitely reiterate this because it's important. If you're a composer who's, knee deep in work right now, this is not something that I would recommend doing. I'm sharing with everybody my process, but of course, I'm not an authority. I'm just a composer like everyone else. And ultimately, if something goes wrong, it can really mess things up. I've had that experience where my computer just, I lose a week. And it's not just that I lose a week, it's a week of like pulling my hair out, trying to get everything reinstalled. I hope that's not what we're in for today. But likewise, like I said, I'm coming from Kontakt 7, I'm upgrading Kontakt 8. The way it should work is that I just have Kontakt 8 installed and I uninstall Kontakt 7 and it should all auto migrate. That's what Native Instruments tells me. Whether or not that happens, we are going to see. Now, there's a couple of other caveats that and tips that I want to offer. A caveat in my situation is that I have everything loaded into VE Pro, Vienna Ensemble Pro, which helps me to cordon off a little bit, defend a perimeter, if you will. I'm going to open up something here in VE Pro, and I can just save it as a new server project. And I know that if it all goes haywire and my whole thing shuts down, all I really need to do is reinstall Kontakt 7, and then I'll be able to open up VE Pro again and everything will work fine. So I have confidence in that process. If you have the ability, if you know you're going back to Kontakt 6, I would look into making sure you've got a way to reinstall Kontakt 6. I'm not sure they have installers going back to 3.5 like they say the auto migration will work for, but I'm going to leave that to each person independently to research. What I have researched is how the auto migration is supposed to work and how to uninstall Kontakt 7 properly. I'm on a Mac here. It'll be probably a little bit of a different situation on Windows. But unfortunately, Native Instruments does not give us a great tool for uninstalling stuff. Why, I don't know. If you're ever watching this, people from NI, that would really come in handy, is if there's just an uninstall feature. Anyway, that's again for a different video. So the first step here is basically to just look at an example that we're gonna follow the auto migration on. So let me bring up my screen here. Didn't realize that that wasn't up. So I've got this instance here in VE Pro set up called Hybrid Percussion. It's got one instrument in it. This is a third-party library by a company called Fallout Group, which is a great taiko for hybrid projects. I've just got one installed here, but it is running in Kontakt 7. All right, and then over here I've got a Dorico project that's linked to that, and we can hear some of its examples. Okay, so that's all functioning right now. The next step is basically I'm going to go ahead and save this server project, and I'm just going to call this K8 upgrade test, and I'm going to go ahead and shut that out. Close this down, close down the Dorico project anyway. And we are here, basically how to uninstall. So these are the two links that I've posted in the description. This is notes about auto migration of Kontakt versions in DAW projects. It's got some language in there. Oh, actually, one thing that I will also, another tip that I want to offer to help mitigate the risks of doing this, is that you can create snapshots. First of all, if you've got some project that you really want to have backed up, let's take a very hypothetical situation like I had scored some Oscar-winning film, then I would probably go and I would just open up that project and I would bounce out all the stems if I hadn't already, anything, a project that you just cannot afford to lose, I would bounce it out to audio. Secondarily to that, if there are presets or setups that you know are rather customized, save snapshots in your existing version of Kontakt. Saving the snapshots will, to a degree, mitigate the problems of upgrading and making sure that Kontakt 8, if it doesn't auto-migrate, you should be able to still open that snapshot. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing here is basically just uninstalling. I have already, with native access, for those of you who have not done this, native access, I went ahead and installed my, if I go to applications and I go down, you can see that I have both Kontakt 7 and Kontakt 8 installed. So I already own Kontakt 8. This was not a free update. I'm sure that there is the player version, which you could update to if you are using the player. So what I've got to do here is uninstall Kontakt 7. They have a link to how to uninstall, but what I'd really like, of course, is an actual uninstall. So I've got all these folders and files here, which I've got to go ahead and got to go through this rather slow process. So I'm doing this live. I'm sorry that it takes a little bit of time, but let's see how it goes. And when I'm done, what should happen is that I reopen the Vienna Ensemble project or server project, and I should be running Kontakt 8. That's what I'm expecting will happen. So let's go through here, and we're just going to basically go down this list of files, and I'm going to delete what they tell me to delete. So I'm just going to do a little bit of reading here, make sure that I've got my ducks in a row, and we can get started. So I'm going to, again, I'm on a Mac. I'm going to just go to these folders one by one. And open that up. So its first step is deleting the application files. So I'm going to go here to Kontakt 7. I'm just going to delete that whole folder. Just want to make sure that I don't have anything already running. And I'm going to close Vienna Ensemble entirely. I think that's probably the best way to go. So I've deleted that. Library preferences. I'd imagine that is like that. And we're going to go in here. We're going to find this. I'm doing this step right here. Looking for Kontakt 7 along here. There it is. Going to go ahead and delete that plist file. I guess I've got to put in my admin password for a lot of these. Of course, users shared. I'm going to open up a new window so I can have a couple of these open at the same time. There we are. Shared native instruments, installed products. Scroll down again. Get rid of that JSON file. Yeah, thanks Shubis for joining today. And yes, I am eager. I'm eager to see how it goes. I'm very excited about the advantages of new features in Kontakt 8. Just hoping that this is not something that I regret having done. So we'll see. All right, library audio. So up here, plugins, VST. And I'm going to delete that. I mean, all of this is so straightforward. You wonder why there isn't just an uninstall feature in native access. I mean, that's really what it should be. Library application support. And we are going to both, well, DigiDesign, I don't use Pro Tools on here, so I don't think I'll have any DigiDesign. I guess I do have Avid. And let's see if they've got it installed over here. I mean, I don't even using this, but I'll go ahead and I will follow all these steps. Oops, so I didn't do that right. All right, so we're on to the app-specific data. Again, I've got library, application support, native instruments, and product name folder. Kontakt 7 is what I'm looking for. Right there. I'm going to just delete that whole folder. Library, application support, native instruments, service center. I don't think we have that anymore. That's old. Oh no, we do. Okay, service center. Product name. I do not see it in there. Okay, so that's fine. So now we're down to preference files, user library. That's down here. So this is in my library. I can also, if you are a Mac user, you can also go to the here and hold down the Option key to get to your user library. And let's see, we got preferences. So we're going to preferences and then common native instruments all the way down to, gotta have this window open a bit more. We're looking for com.native instruments. And then we're looking at HIJK. Got Kontakt 7 plist here as well, so we're going to delete that. And then last, we've got users, application support. All right, native instruments, and we're looking for the product name again. Kontakt 7 right here. Going to delete that. All right, and then content files such as Kontakt libraries. I don't think I'm going to do that because I don't have, it's not like there's a Kontakt 8 library. Okay, so at this point, I have followed their instructions. This link to this how to uninstall is in the description as well. You can just Google it as well. But at this point, I should have Kontakt 7 uninstalled. So what I'm going to do as a test now is I am going to go ahead, if I type in Kontakt, I only get Kontakt 8 up here in my search, my spotlight. But also, if I were to open up, say, Complete Control, which I never use Complete Control, but it does do scanning of plugins and that sort of thing, and it can often be a useful sort of touchstone as far as what's installed and what isn't. I'm just going to yes, Shubis, this is true. Your comment about removing Kontakt 5. My understanding about this auto migration is that you have to have no versions of Kontakt. I mean, In other words, if you open up a project that's running Kontakt 6 and there's no Kontakt 6, my understanding is it will load Kontakt 8 or whatever the newest version of Kontakt you has. It wouldn't revert back to Kontakt 5. But if you have a project that was using Kontakt 5 and you open it up and Kontakt 5 is still installed on your system, then it will run with Kontakt 5 even if you have Kontakt 8 installed. So Kontakt 7 or 8 should only do the auto migration in the event that the older version that it's looking for does not exist. So that's why it's necessary to take this step of actually uninstalling. So you want to get to a place where you actually only have Kontakt 8 if that's what you want to do here. All right, and I can look through here. This is just kind of HIJK. I should have. I guess I'm just seeing. This is libraries, not plugins. Great. So it's looking good. I've only got Kontakt 8 in there. So what I'm going to do now, cross my fingers, is I'm going to open up VE Pro. And I'm going to open up that project, which was my K8 upgrade test. And what I see here is a rather alarming little thing. So let's go ahead and see. This did not automatically upgrade 7 installed here. I'd actually let's go and see what happens if I choose Kontakt 8. I want to make sure I am running VST3 for my purposes. Let's go ahead and see what happens here. All right, so it did not save. It didn't just auto migrate. It's certainly not what it looked like it did to me. So what that probably means is that my guess is there's some checkbox somewhere where you'd have to go through and look that up. I'm going to do some research, and if I find an answer to that, I'm going to post it in the comments to this. So having Kontakt 7 uninstalled does not seem to have just done the auto migrate. I'm not too concerned because, first of all, I'm only using the actual pre-configured sort of presets within Kontakt, so they're ones that I can load up again. That's probable outcome of this. The next probable outcome is if I have a project I'm really having problems with, or there was some customized settings, I will simply just reinstall Kontakt 7 and then it would work fine. I'm surprised that it doesn't just load, because obviously the auto part of the auto migration implies that it would do that, but I may have missed something. As you could see, I went through that as quick as I could. So I'm going to look into it and leave a follow-up in the description. If you do this, I recommend taking snapshots. I recommend bouncing out stuff on really crucial projects, and you know, just take it easy, because as you can see, this could potentially be problematic. Let me check the comments before I close down. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry if the audio is cutting out. Hopefully. That's true, Shubis. I could try a reboot. I don't know if that's going to take me offline. It might. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to try a reboot here and see if it takes me offline. Then you all know why my live stream got cut short. If it doesn't, then I'll be back with you. So I'm going to restart. Hopefully that'll work. Let's see how it goes. Oh, I got something here I got to turn down. All right, yeah, I think it's going to keep me online. I think my whole live streaming thing is independent. It's a learning experience. But I think this process, one thing that I am taking away from it is that the process of uninstalling software from Native Instruments is definitely cumbersome. It's something that I definitely glad they have that page explaining how it's done, and you want to make sure that you have that, as a guide as you're moving through this process. Okay, my restart was pretty fast. Let's see what happens if I go ahead and set this up again. Don't even get me started on iLock. That is always an unwelcome thing. Let's see if I open up that project, see what happens. Yeah, so I still get the same thing. Which is Kontakt 7 didn't pull itself together correctly. I no longer have visibility on the comments, so sorry about that. Long story short here, I think you probably want to check back if I make any updates to the comments. It's not the end of the world if you just need to reinstall the older version of Kontakt, but there is obviously something extra that needs to be done in order for that auto part of the auto migration to take effect. I'm going to wrap it up here because I've been online for quite a while and I like to keep these videos as short as possible. If you do have questions about this, or you have other software questions, other Kontakt related questions, please put them in the comments. Thanks to those who joined me for the stream, and for those watching after the fact, if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. And I will look forward to seeing you guys again, hopefully on Friday. All right, take care for now. Bye.